It was the kind of rain that changes the sound of everything. Not a storm, just a steady, endless fall that turned the school into an island. The usual noises in the corridors were softened, wrapped in a blanket of white noise from outside. The clanging lockers, the laughter, the quick footsteps, all of it was muted, pushed into the background. It was a relief. On days like this, the world felt less sharp, less demanding. It was as if the rain gave permission to move slower, to think quieter. I had a free period after lunch. Instead of going to the library, I went to the art room stairwell. It's not really a stairwell anyone uses. It's tucked away at the end of a hallway that only leads to the ceramics studio, which doesn't have classes this period. It has a tall, narrow window that looks out over the empty side courtyard. I went there because I knew it would be quiet, but also because I knew on days like this that it was a place to watch the rain without being watched watching it. There's a difference between seeking solitude and being seen seeking it. One is a choice, the other becomes a performance. I sat on the steps, a few up from the landing, my back against the wall. The concrete was cool through my jeans. I opened a book but didn't read it. The window was a sheet of moving water, distorting the view of the brick wall opposite. The world outside was an impressionist painting, all blurred edges and blended colors. It was peaceful, the kind of peace that feels heavy, like it's pressing down on you. You don't feel light, you feel still, anchored. I let my thoughts drift, not towards anything in particular, but just letting them exist, like the rain existed, constant, directionless, and natural. And then I saw him, a reflection in the window, just a shape, coming down the stairs from the floor above. Noah. He stopped a few steps behind me on the other side of the landing. He hadn't seen me yet. He was looking at his phone, then out the same window. I watched his reflection for a second. He was just standing there, one hand in his pocket, the other holding his phone loosely at his side. He was looking at the rain with the same detached focus I had been. Then he put his phone away and just stood, watching. My first instinct was to move, to make a sound, to acknowledge. A cough, a shuffle, something to break the tension of being an unseen observer. But I didn't. I held perfectly still. It wasn't secrecy, it was the sudden, sharp awareness of a shared silence. If I moved now, I would break it for both of us. I would turn a quiet coincidence into a social moment. And I understood in that second that he had probably come here for the same reason I had, to be alone with the rain, to find a pocket of stillness in the middle of a loud day. We were both trespassing in the same hidden spot, and now we were accomplices. So I stayed still. I let my eyes go back to my unread book, but my attention was entirely on the space behind me. I listened. I heard him shift his weight. I heard the rustle of his jacket as he sat down on his own steps. And then there was just the rain again, but it was different now. It was a silence we were both inside. It was no longer my silence, it was ours, a separate, invisible room we had both stepped into without planning to. The rain on the window was the only sound, and it was enough. It filled the space without invading it. We were 10 feet apart, facing the same window, listening to the same weather. We didn't speak for the entire 20 minutes. I don't think we even looked at each other once. But the space between us felt charged, not with tension, but with a mutual understanding so complete it didn't need words. We were both people who chose stairwells over libraries, who found crowded rooms exhausting, who heard the rain as an invitation to pause, to step out of the current of the day and just be. We were the same in that way, and in that sameness there was a connection. It wasn't a connection that required action, it was a connection of recognition. At one point, he let out a long, slow breath. Not a sigh of sadness or frustration, just a breath, the kind you release when you finally remember to stop holding something in. I realized I'd been holding my shoulders a little tight, my jaw slightly clenched. I let them drop. I took a deeper breath myself. It felt like a conversation, an exchange of unspoken relief. We were both letting go of something, the performance of the day, the expectation to be somewhere else, to be someone else. For these 20 minutes, we were just two people in a stairwell, with nothing to do but watch the rain. With 5 minutes left in the period, I knew I had to leave first. If we both stood up at the same time, it would be awkward. It would force a smile, a hey, a dismantling of what had happened. I wanted to preserve the untouched quality of it. I didn't want to package the experience into a social transaction. So I closed my book softly. I stood up, still not looking his way. I walked down the stairs and out the door at the bottom. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. I knew he was still there. I knew he would wait another minute or two before leaving himself, completing the unspoken agreement. We had shared a silence so deliberately that speaking would have felt like a failure. It would have reduced it to just another hallway interaction. This was more than that. I walked to my next class. The rain was still falling. The hallways were louder, filled with the buzz of students changing periods. The spell was broken, but I carried the residue of it. For the rest of the day, I felt calm. Not happy, not excited, just validated. It was proof that the quiet I valued was not a lack. It wasn't an absence of something. It was a space, a real, tangible space that could be inhabited. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, someone else is standing in the same space, respecting its borders. They don't try to fill it. They just stand there with you, acknowledging its existence by not disturbing it. I didn't see him that day again. I didn't mention it the next time we spoke about homework. It became a secret that wasn't a secret, just a private fact, a memory of a shared absence, a connection built entirely on what we didn't do, didn't say, didn't acknowledge out loud. It was a negative space connection, defined by the outline of what wasn't there, and in its own way, it felt more substantial than a dozen casual conversations. That's the heart of it, I think. The most profound understandings aren't forged in grand conversations or dramatic confessions. They're built in these silent parallel moments where two people independently choose the same kind of solitude, and in doing so, they accidentally keep each other company. You don't walk away with a new friend. You walk away with the confirmed knowledge that your way of being in the world, however quiet, can sometimes be mirrored. And that mirroring doesn't require a reflection. It doesn't require you to look at each other. It just requires the rain on a window, a forgotten stairwell, and the courage to not say a word. It requires the strength to let silence be enough, to let a shared experience remain unlabeled, to let a moment exist without forcing it to mean something more than what it is. And what it is enough. It's a reminder that you're not alone in your aloneness, that somewhere in the same building, under the same gray sky, someone else is also counting the raindrops, also letting their thoughts unwind, also seeking refuge from the noise. And for 20 minutes, your refuges overlapped. You shared a shelter without sharing a word, and when you left the shelter intact for the other person. You both left without leaving a trace, except for the memory of a silence that was for once not lonely. It was a shared solitude, which is perhaps the most intimate kind of connection two quiet people can have. It doesn't ask for anything, it doesn't promise anything, it just is. And sometimes that's everything.